Greetings, valued subscribers of Diana's. I do wonder if any of you are here just for me, but it's unlikely because Diana's amazing. These are my 4 most recent reads. They vary in length and in themes and so on, but they are all united in that they are all set at some point in the future. So let's see what the future of fiction reads like. Now we have 4 books here. We have Feed by Myra Grant, All Systems Red of the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells, The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor, and Neuromancer by William Gibson. Now, technically, I didn't read all of these. One of these is a DNF. You'll have to wait and see which one, though. So I began with Feed by Myra Grant. This is a zombie book. It's actually pretty interesting to read a book where they actually call the zombies zombies. What with The Walking Dead calling them walkers and all that kind of thing. It seems like nobody wants to use the word zombie. So it was actually a little weird to see them being referred to as zombies the entire time. Now, this is one of Myra Grant's first books. I think it's her second or third she ever wrote, but I don't know for sure. This book was a little tricky to get through. No offense, Myra, I know that's not your real name, if you ever happen to watch this. No offense, this read like a Tumblr blog. Like, the book was good, the story was okay. It's book 1 of a series, and I am hoping to read the next one just to see if it gets better. But yeah, there are just way too many Tumblr r/funny one-liners, and they're often used in very, very strange times. Naturally, this is a zombie book. People get infected, they turn into zombies, and they try to kill other people to spread the infection, that kind of thing. Centers on a group of bloggers who have been chosen to report on the presidential campaign in America. That's most of what the story's about, but obviously there are zombies, people get infected, and so on, and one of the main characters does, and they then have to be euthanized by their friends. Okay, so it happens toward the about 2/3 mark in the book. One of the main characters has just been killed because they've turned into a zombie. There's a group of 4 people. One of them has done the killing. Another one of them has just thrown up because it's a pretty traumatizing thing that's just happened. And basically, the one that did the killing tells the 4th person to go and get some field testing kits to make sure that they're all not infected. And this person says, "And you'll be doing what exactly, as I leave you alone in the middle of nowhere with the dead things and Captain Vomit?" Referencing the best friend that they've just killed as dead things and Captain Vomit as the other guy who threw up when it happened. Then the person who did the shooting responds with, "I'll be standing here keeping an eye on Captain Vomit and calling for help." It's like, you just killed your best friend to stop them from turning into a zombie. Like, now is not the time for one-liners, and there are hundreds of them in this book, and they are very jarring, and I didn't really like it. I finished the book itself, though, and I am hoping that that kind of style changes a little bit as we go, but who knows? Okay, moving on. We now have a very small book, All Systems Red, The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. Easily my favourite of the 4 books that I have read recently. It is a very short book. It's only 150 pages. It's actually bang on 149. I read this book all, like, in one sitting, in one day. Read through the whole thing. It really caught my attention. it is the beginning of a series, very much like Feed, and it does have its funny moments. Essentially, it centers on a sci-fi spacefaring future where basically there's a company that hires people to go out to distant planets and explore them and do research and science and stuff like that, but they are all issued a security android to protect them. And that's our main character. However, this security robot is a little bit broken. It has taken control of the system in its brain that tells it what to do. So it's kind of self-aware, and it refers to itself as Murderbot because of certain events in its past. But yeah, it's really interesting. I'm really excited to read the rest of the series. Obviously, being a short story, there is not much room for exposition or backstory, that kind of thing, which is the one place I felt this book was slightly lacking. Is there's a lot of new technology and stuff that's introduced and becomes integral to the story. There's like a satellite-based internet thing that the space explorers use, and then that ends up becoming a tool that they use throughout the book, but it's not really explained that well how it works and that sort of thing, which led to me getting a little bit lost. And you're literally thrown right into the story with all of these new characters, and you don't feel like you get enough time to get to know them and understand them that well. But it definitely has a lot of promise, definitely my favourite. And we'll see where the series goes. I can't wait to read some more. Diana's getting me the next book of this series. Yeah, really good little book. I would highly recommend this one to anyone who likes sci-fi. A lot of fun. Definitely a breath of fresh air compared with Feed, which, you know, it was still a good read, but I don't know, kind of cringy. But maybe that will change. Like I said, it was only this author's first, second or third book they ever wrote, so maybe they drop the cringy, half-baked sense of humor thing later on. We will see. Okay, now we have The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor. This book I got most recently, along with the Murderbot book. Diana and I got them at our last trip to Barnes & Noble. This is my first ever sprayed edge book, which is pretty cool. And although these just look like abstract shapes, their existence is later explained. Now, this book is, I think it's the longest one. I think it's a little bit longer than Feed, but I'm not sure. I can't be bothered to fact check. It's very pretty. The front cover is really what got me. And in case the front cover isn't clear, it is all about octopuses. Yeah, and for those who don't know, the plural for octopus is octopuses and not octopi. That's a common mistake. So yeah, that's probably the only thing I remember from the beginnings of my zoology degree. So this, again, set on a future version of Earth. The funny thing is, these books, only one of these books actually says what year it is, because it doesn't really matter how far in the future it's set. Feed is the only one that references what year it is, because it's relevant to how many years it's been since the zombie outbreak took place. But all the rest of them, it literally doesn't matter what year it is, it's just in the future. So this book is all about a marine biologist who is brought to a remote island in Vietnam to study an undiscovered species of octopus that is thought to be much more intelligent than other octopus species we know of, because of course everyone knows octopus are smart. But the one thing stopping them from becoming human levels of smart is octopuses don't live very long, except for really deep sea species that can live for up to about 10 years. Most of them only live to 2. Another thing is that they don't have any culture to pass on because their parents die as soon as they have bred. So there's no way to pass on information to the babies. And then a few other reasons. But this basically just explores what would happen if octopuses could be human-level smart, and how would that influence our philosophy as well. There's a lot of philosophical stuff going on in this book. My main issue is that this book very much finishes on a cliffhanger, and I don't know if there's going to be a sequel or not. This one was written in 2022, I think. Yes. There is no sequel yet. I really hope there will be one. If you look online, this book doesn't have the best of reviews. It's roughly 3 stars on average, but that's mostly because a lot of people think it's boring. I admit it is a slow-paced book, but I really enjoyed it. It's very much up my street because it's about animals and science, and that's really my thing. But I wouldn't blame you if it's not 100% your bag, baby. The one thing that does annoy me slightly is, for some reason, this book is divided up into... Like, obviously all books have chapters, we know that. But it's divided up into 4 or 5 just arbitrary sections for no reason. It's like, does this just exist to increase the page count or something? Like, it just doesn't make any sense why they do it like this. It doesn't add anything to the books, so I really don't get what the point is. Also, at the end of every chapter, there are little excerpts taken from a real book that exists in this universe that's also written by the main character, to make sort of philosophical commentaries on the themes that are going on. Those are okay, but they wear pretty thin after a while. And this book does... that way around. It does struggle to get going. It's a lot of pages, and not a lot of stuff happens. It's like right up until the end of the book. Then, a few big things happen in the last 100 pages or so, and then the book just ends. It ends very much in a way that there should be another one, but I don't know if there will be. I haven't looked it up too much. I tried Googling if there is a sequel to this book, and Google AI said that there is, but that book has nothing to do with this one, so I don't think it actually is a sequel, and it's only a novella anyway. But yeah, good book if you like weird and wacky animals, science, philosophy, that kind of thing, but might not be your thing if those don't appeal to you. And lastly, we come to William Gibson's Neuromancer. Now, this is the oldest book that I have here. It was first published in 1984. Yes. This is in the Science Fiction Masterworks edition. Presumably there are other books under this edition, other, masterworks of sci-fi. This is the book I haven't finished. I only got about 50 pages in. It's very high concept, and there are a lot of sci-fi themes here that will then be developed by a lot of other works. This book is credited with the first mention in fiction of cyberspace. It also references the concept of the Matrix, which is like an internet that you can physically enter by being a plug in the back of your head or something. All good ideas, but the writing style of this book is not my thing at all. Even harder to read than the bad attempts at one-liner jokes in the first book that I read. I can hardly describe how it is. It's just you're thrown into this high-concept futuristic world, and you're introduced to several characters, but you're not really told who they are or what they do. The main character we don't know that much about. but it focuses literally on them and what they're doing. The descriptions are quite poetic, or they're trying to be poetic, but it just comes off as abstract, just needlessly difficult to understand. And it's just not working for me. This book could have been, if it was written in a more easily readable style, it was going places. But that's the biggest gripe that I have, is that it has won a lot of awards. The first ever novel to win the Hugo, Nebula, and Philip K. Dick Awards. One of the 20th century's most potent visions of the future. Yeah, so people are shouting the praises of this book, but I couldn't finish it. So that really shows you how subjective, media awards really are. Let me know if you have read this book, if you managed to get through the writing style. I just couldn't get past it. Maybe I'll give it another go another time. But yeah, this is my first ever DNF'd book. Into the graveyard. There it goes. So, these 3 I would recommend. And yeah, that is 4 very different visions of the future, according to all these books. The future seems like a weird place. Is it going to be about zombies? Or robot space explorers? Or intelligent octopuses? Or the Matrix? No idea. But, yeah, what am I going to read now that I've DNF'd that book? I don't know. I have literally no idea. I'll probably just wait until Diana gets here with the books that she's getting for me. I would like to give an honourable mention to, this is not... Oh, Jesus. This isn't a storybook. This is the book all about Brian May's Red Special. It's a non-fictional book giving a in-depth view of the electric guitar built and played by Queen's guitarist Brian May. He built it with his dad. They had no guitar building experience. It was finished in 1964, and he has played it ever since. Yeah, this was a brilliant book. I am a guitar nerd, and I am hoping to get into making a guitar of my own from scratch. I don't know when that will be. I don't really have the space for it right now. And I already have too many guitars. I have 5. So yeah, if you're a guitar nerd and you want to learn more about Brian May's Red Special guitar, then this is a good book to start with. Anyway,